What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be a first look at the new watchOS 8 for the Apple Watch. As you may or may not know, Apple did hold their annual Worldwide Developers Keynote yesterday, June 7th. And as usual, they did announce updates for all their operating systems, including here, watchOS. And I wasn't actually expecting to be more excited about the new watch update than I was about the new iOS update. But they did introduce a lot of interesting new features that I think are really going to make a big difference on the Apple Watch. I wasn't even going to make this video, but I installed it here on my Apple Watch Series 5 and I started playing around with it and I was like, wow, there's a lot of actually useful stuff. So today we are going to dive in and I'll show you everything that's new. So first of all, are a lot of visual changes. So first thing I noticed was on the California watch face, which I'm usually rocking here, they did make the text just a little bit bolder, and that's kind of been a common theme. So for example, if we go into settings, you can see the title texts are now bigger and more bold to match iOS, which is cool. It ties it in better, but I don't really know if this is necessary on a screen this small, although I don't think it really takes up too much unnecessary space. Next up are some new animations. So I did notice that on this particular watch face, when you are waking it up, I think that wake animation is just slightly different, but honestly I could be wrong. Also, when you are sliding between watch faces, there is a new haptic feedback. It's very subtle. And also when you're going to input your passcode, there's new haptic feedback there. And overall, the whole system does feel even snappier than before. I feel like with every new release of watchOS, this gets improved, so that is always nice to see. Going into the control center here, you can see your status bar icons at the top are now just grouped into the little center like that. And there are a couple new icon changes. So I think, yeah, the ping iPhone and the flashlight maybe are a little bit bolder, maybe even the theater mode, I'm not really sure. But definitely this one. And also do not disturb, which I guess is now called focus. Slightly different color purple, and when I first installed the OS, this was moved all the way to the bottom, so you'll probably just have to move it back up to wherever it was for you. And also if we go down here to edit, go to more, I think the hearing one there was there before, I could be wrong though. This one is definitely new. Person raising their hand, I have no idea what that's for. I tap it, does nothing. So if any of you guys know what that's for, you can let me know down in the comments. I would appreciate it. Next up, they did add quite a few apps actually. So first of all, the Breathe app here did change the icon for it, and I guess it's actually called mindfulness now. You got a new reflect mode there, and have updated it with some new graphics that look really nice. You can see right there. And then over here, they did add a new contacts app, which before you actually had to go into the phone app and just do it that way, which was fine. But it is nice to just have a dedicated app for it now. And what else? I believe, yeah, they did update the weather app icon. I didn't notice this before. I actually just flipped the icon so the sun and the cloud are switched positions. And they didn't actually make any changes to the app itself though, like they did on the iPhone. I think UV index might be different. I haven't seen that before, but again, I could be wrong. But yeah, they didn't change anything other than the icon really. Up here we have the new Tips app, which is new for the Apple Watch. I'm not going to go through that. And looking around here, I think the remote shutter icon is slightly different. I think they made the camera a little smaller maybe, and maybe even the mail icon, the envelope might be a little smaller, I don't know. So finally down here we have 3 new apps that are to replace the Find My app, which before on the Apple Watch, I think Find My could only be used to locate people. I couldn't even use it to like find your devices. So now we do have 3 separate apps for Find People, Find Devices, and now Find Items with your AirTags, which seems kind of redundant. I don't know why they split it up into 3 different apps. I feel like they could have just put it all into one Find My app, because this just takes up a bunch of space, but it's fine. This is actually a feature I was really hoping they would add to the Apple Watch soon, especially with the release of the AirTags, because, I mean, before, like, let's say you lose your phone and your keys or something, then you would have to actually ping your iPhone, and then once you find that, then you would have to go in and ping your AirTag. So it's more convenient now that you can just do it like this. Obviously you're not going to really be losing your Apple Watch a lot. I know for me, it's the least likely thing I am to lose because I pretty much just put it on every morning. Now these apps might take a while to actually load everything in for you the first time. This one's worked pretty consistently, but I know for the Find Items, this actually didn't really work for me at all until shortly before I started to film the video. So yeah, I think that's all the new apps they did add. You can see I have mine arranged in kind of a weird star formation here. If you want to see what's on my Apple Watch, I don't really know how interesting it would be, but if you wish, I could make that video. And now on to the thing that I was most excited for at the keynote, which are the new messages features. So if we go in and go into a text thread here, you can see we've actually got a new text field. And within this, you're actually able to switch between your different text inputs right here. Before, you kind of had to pick one and just stick with it. Now you can switch between them, which is really helpful because let's say you want to type text and an emoji. Well, now you can do that. So I can type something out and then also add an emoji right there. Before you kind of just had to either send just an emoji, which is something I rarely do, or there was a way to kind of get around this before. So if you know what emojis are called, you can actually type them in. So for example, this is one I use a lot, which apparently is called a pleading face. I just call it puppy dog eyes, but if you actually type in pleading, and then you can basically just scroll down and find it there and do it that way. So not super convenient, but having this new ability will make it so much easier. And another thing you might have noticed is if you turn the digital crown, it'll actually move the cursor for you. So before, if you finish typing a word and you move the digital crown, it would pop up with different suggestions for autocorrections. Now it will just move the cursor, which I think is a lot more convenient, because before having to go back and try to edit a message was a nightmare. Now it makes it a lot easier, and then you just tap. So still pretty good. So yep, now you can switch between dictation and scribble and emojis right there. The only downside is probably that this field here is a little bit smaller, but I think it's still plenty enough to enter in letters. And obviously this actually applies to any text field within watchOS, not just messages, so it's really a huge deal. And then also they did add the App Store here, so you can now send GIFs right here. They load. I haven't been able to get that to work yet. Also, I think voice messages is new. Obviously, you can still do Memoji, Digital Touch, and Apple Pay. And you still got your suggestions down here. So yeah, some really welcome changes in there. And another thing that they talked about in the keynote that I haven't actually tried yet is the Photos app. So yeah, this does actually look quite a bit different so far. And you can kind of zoom in either 1x1, 3x3, 5x5, or I don't even know how many that is, but yeah, very similar to iPhone. I was seeing that they had it in like a collage view, or I don't even know, where there would be like different shapes and sizes. I don't know how you get to that. You can also share now, right, to messages, mail, so that's really convenient. But yeah, those were really all the features that I was able to notice right off the bat. I'm sure there's plenty more, but I think those are kind of the key ones, and especially just with the text input alone, if that was the only new thing in this update, like I would be fine with that, because it's gonna make typing messages out so much better on here. And it's not like that's something I did very often, but when I do, it's gonna be a lot better. watchOS 8 is going to be supported on all the same Apple Watch models as watchOS 7, so that's the Apple Watch Series 3 and later. And yeah, that was just my little first look at watchOS 8 Developer Beta 1 on the Apple Watch Series 5 here. I don't plan on making a video about iOS 15 because, again, there really was not a lot that interested me. You know, I might. Yeah, I probably will, to be honest. So be sure to stay tuned for that video. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, as well as drop a like on this video. And we will see you again pretty shortly.